Chris Gethard is an American comedian, writer, actor, and podcaster whose work you're probably already familiar with. You've seen Chris on shows like Parks and Recreation, Broad City, and The Office. But the show that arguably defined his career was his long-running, unconventional talk show, The Chris Gethard Show. TCGS featured celebrity guests, audience participation, and unpredictable live performances. All that was packaged into a mixture of quirky humor and heartfelt sincerity, making The Chris Gethard Show a one-of-a-kind viewing experience for nearly a decade.
Tonight, I ask you, the people who have supported this show from the beginning, should we keep doing this?
Ask any longtime fan which episode you should watch if you're just dipping your toes into the series, and most will tell you to watch the episode titled One Man's Trash. However, they will often direct you not to look anything up about the episode beforehand and go in completely blind. Without spoiling anything, One Man's Trash is an episode with one question.
Have you ever walked past a dumpster and been like, yo, I wonder what's in that dumpster?
That's it. That's the whole premise of the episode. If you've never seen it, pause this video and head to the link in the description to watch it right now. Go in blind and don't look anything up. We'll be here when you get back. One Man's Trash has gone down in TCGS history as possibly the most exciting episode the series has ever recorded. But even Chris Gethard himself could never have guessed that it would go on to inspire a strenuous 14-month whirlwind of events involving one man and one box. Well, actually, like 4 boxes, but we'll get to that. Today, we're providing you the insane, untold story of Chris Gethard's modern-day Pandora's box. So won't you join us as we do our best to answer the question, what's in the box? Chris Gethard's career can only be described as robust. The New Jersey native has been active in comedy for over 20 years and has written several books, starred in several comedy specials, and hosted one of the most popular, albeit niche, public access shows ever recorded. Initially a stage show at the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater in New York, TCGS began airing on Manhattan Neighborhood Network before moving to cable channels Fusion and TruTV. On May 29, 2018, TruTV aired the final episode of The Chris Gethard Show, and hopeful fans were excited to see what Chris would do next. After all, he was responsible for some delightfully memorable television moments, such as the Night of Zero Laughs, where he and his fellow panel members are not allowed to laugh at any of the calls or performers.
We're doing pretty well. Everyone's standing strong right now. You might be the guy to break the seal on the laughs, Nick.
I just wanted to know how your movie Tintin is doing.
Or the crowdsourced character contests, where everyday folks try out new characters for a panel of professionals from the comedy industry.
Thank you for including Zamboni Jabroni in the name.
And of course, who could forget the dumpster episode with special guests Paul Scheer and Jason Mantzoukas.
And Paul, you're gonna be shocked.
Okay, great. Literally a gigantic game change. Okay.
With hundreds upon hundreds of hours of TCGS content already available, fans knew Gethard would eventually have something new up his sleeve. And luckily, they didn't have to wait too long to find out what that was. On March 20th, 2019, Gethard's Instagram account directed fans to follow a new account called CGPMNN, which posted cryptic messages about comedy and going back to your roots, leading many to believe that a new show was incoming. On June 20th, the CGP Instagram account announced Chris Gethard Presents, an all-new, no-holds-barred comedy showcase. This time, Chris would be stepping behind the camera in order to showcase new and upcoming talent in the New York comedy scene. Comedian friends of Gethard's were given 1 hour and a platform to put on whatever kind of show they wanted. Performers such as Carmen Christopher, Connor Ratliff, Robby Hoffman, and Mary Houlihan wrote and performed their own comedy productions, taking phone calls and fostering a new online presence in the process. Chris Gethard Presents premiered on Manhattan Neighborhood Network as well as a newly created Twitch channel on June 26th, and ran for 36 episodes before coming to an abrupt stop in March of 2020. Chris Gethard Presents had kicked off a new era for fans of the comedian and podcaster. Instead of the organized chaos of the Chris Gethard Show, CGP was focused on one idea for 1 hour, utilizing Chris's production team to bring a performer's ideas to life.
Really, Katie, yeah, whatever you feel like you need to do.
Yep.
Chris's patented brand of interactive TV continued through the end of 2019 and into 2020, and seemed to be destined to go on for as long as Chris had friends to feature. So, a long time, essentially. However, if you know anything about early 2020, you know what happens next. On March 11th, CGP aired Matt Barat's and Anthony Oberbeck's Reveries, a collection of thoughts, stories, and strange memories.
Well, that was weird.
While CGP had plans for future shows at MNN, Reveries would end up being the final episode of Chris Gethard Presents. On March 12th, the following day, Chris would post a note on his Instagram suspending production of CGP at MNN due to ongoing COVID-19 concerns and the safety of his performers and crew. By the following week, Manhattan Neighborhood Network, New York, and most of the rest of the country would be shut down. Gethard remained in contact with his fans through his various social media pages, as well as the CGP Discord, where updates on the show and comedy in general were flowing, as everyone tried to figure out what was going on in the world and what could be done to keep their minds off of it. To further that mindset, Chris announced that he would be live on stream on March 25th for a watch-along of the infamous One Man's Trash episode of TCGS. Gethard and friends streamed the episode for fans and offered behind-the-scenes insight and an excellent way for viewers to forget the world for an hour.
Someone's already put the clips of it in the Twitch chat.
This format, the fan response, as well as a series of successful online Discord open mic nights, lit a spark in Gethard, and the gears started turning. After a few more watch-alongs with fans, Gethard introduced a new series which would take over the void left by CGP. Instagram, Discord, and the Twitch channel were all rebranded as Planet Scum Live, a reference to Gethard's fans lovingly referring to themselves as trash people from Planet Scum. The first show was a chat format show with CGP performers Christi Somers, then Cello, and Carmen Christopher, with Chris acting as a host.
You get paid. You get paid for this?
The show was done virtually from the safety and comfort of the performers' homes, a trend that would continue for the next dozen or so episodes of Gethard's flagship streaming show. Guests like Bobby Moynihan, Sarah Sherman, Chris Farron, and Jeff Rosenstock chatted with Geth and fans over the phone while the outside world worked to figure everything out.
It's structured like something you would love.
With the success of Planet Scum Live, Gethard introduced more shows to the network, allowing his performer friends to establish their own programming on the network. Vacation Jason's Riley Soloner created Googie Morning, a Saturday morning talk show with a focus on conceptual art. Robby Hoffman established Robby Hoffman Consulting Group, an advice show that specialized in LGBTQ+ support and guidance.
There's straight people that exist and they're great. They're wonderful people.
There was interactive painting show Mary Houlihan's Painting Party, and game show Who Wants 269 with Martin Urbano. These new shows, along with the longtime stage show The George Lucas Talk Show, filled the weeks with community and laughter, allowing a brief respite from the COVID-ridden world for old and new fans alike. After more than a dozen weeks of this talk show format, Gethard decided to change things up for Planet Scum Live in the summer of 2020. The evening of July 22nd was an interesting one for the community of Planet Scum. Earlier in the day, the Planet Scum Instagram account posted a plug for that evening's stream, indicating that Geth was flying solo for the night with no guest. Additionally, Gethard made a post on Twitter which read,
"Tonight, I'll be live on Twitch at Planet Scum Live. I'm starting a new game that will be truly idiotic. On top of that, I have a feeling tonight may get personal and weird. We shall see. 10 p.m.
As the stream began that night, Gethard held up a box, letting his audience know that there was an item in the box, and there was also $20 in the box. If one could correctly guess the item in the box, they would not only get the money and the item, but they would get to keep the box as well. More money would be added to the box each week, making the bonus payout that much sweeter the longer the game went on. And so the guesses flowed in, slowly at first, but once the ball got rolling and more people watched the stream, more guesses were made. One guess, asking if the item was a wrestling zine, became a major clue to the contents of the box, as well as a running gag on the show for the rest of the series.
I like that all the wrestling comic related guesses continue.
The evening ended without a correct guess as to what was in the box, and those who had missed the stream were disappointed to find out that it was the first of Gethard's shows not to be archived.
Because we don't archive these things. You got to be here live. This does not live forever on YouTube, because I want you to have to be here.
This was later revealed as intentional, since having a backlog of guesses to reference would make the game too easy. From this point onward, no further Planet Scum live streams were archived, leaving almost no record of the show, save for a few clips you can find on Instagram and Twitch. This bite-sized version of One Man's Trash proved extremely popular with Gethard's audience over the next month. One would assume that the lack of an archive meant that people had to tune in and pay attention to the guesses, or else they would be left out. Or would they? During the opening of one Wednesday night stream in the summer of 2020, Gethard started things off by calling out a community member who he learned had been keeping and sharing a Google Doc manifesto of all correct and incorrect guesses and clues. The member was invited on stream to explain themselves, and when they did, Gethard was met not with a person, but rather a talking anthropomorphic pickle on a blue background.
I'm a pickle.
After explaining her side of the story, Pickle was invited to stay on stream, and a new permanent fixture of the Box Show was born. Pickle would end up appearing on most remaining Box Show episodes over the next year, never revealing her true face. As the weeks went on and the guesses continued, a winner finally emerged after 56 days. After plenty of narrowing down and honing in on the item, a community member named Overreactor correctly guessed that Gethard's box contained a copy of Wizard Comics magazine number 70, featuring the Incredible Hulk on the cover.
As it is, let's just go ahead and say, congratulations, Overreactor.
Oh my god.
Fans rejoiced and the box game was seemingly over. The following week, however, Gethard opened the show yet again with a box. He mentioned that previous winner Overreactor had donated a portion of her winnings to put a new item in the box, keeping the game going for another week. And so the guesses again poured in, with several descriptive questions eventually leading to the game's end the very next week.
I would love to know if it is made of fabric.
Fuck, are you sneaking into my house?
That following Wednesday, the stream ended when a caller named Karoma Teraku guessed that the second box contained a lampshade. The second box game began and ended in just a few short days, and as a result, Gethard ended the stream expressing his displeasure that the item was guessed so swiftly.
I had been expressing that I was sad, maybe even mad, that the games were moving so quickly.
The following week, everything would change. On October 21st, Gethard fans were getting ready for another episode of Planet Scum Live, wondering where the show would go now that two box games were quickly snuffed out. As the show opened, Gethard's normal demeanor was swapped for a more serious tone as he revealed to the audience how the night's show would go. First off, he had a fresh box with a fresh item inside, and stated that while he did not plan on opening a third box, somebody reached out to him and made him an offer he could not refuse. Someone, referred to as the mysterious benefactor or scum guru, had reached out to Gethard after the second box's item was guessed.
There's someone who contributes consistently to all the Planet Scum shows, contributes under an alias. This is true. I do not know who the person is.
Benefactor stated that the box show was good, but with some established ground rules, it could be great. The Scum Guru's goal was simple: offer a life-changing amount of money to somebody over the next 17 months if they could guess what was in the box. The preliminary rules were simple: only yes or no questions. No more descriptive questions. You had to guess directly what was in the box, simply by process of elimination.
I therefore proclaim them the executive producer.
These new rules and this new producer shrouded in mystery ended up being a slam dunk, as the first several Wednesdays of box show number 3 proved too difficult to guess. The promise of additional rules and safeguards meant that this show really could go 17 months or bust. As the box game continued on, new rules and elements were added to the game to make it more interesting, as well as more difficult. Through the Scum Guru, a website containing all the current rules was unveiled and updated weekly to add new components to the already off-the-wall premise. New rules were allowed, but now had to be voted on by a board composed mostly of Gethard's friends in comedy, community members, and veteran members of CGP and TCGS. As the weeks turned to months, Gethard decided going it alone was getting too difficult, so he invited his friend and comedic peer Christi to join him as 2020 drew to a close. Board meetings regularly turned into chaotic shouting matches, requiring mediators to keep things going. Taking a cue from another TCGS premise, the crowdsourced character contest, Mysterious Benefactor introduced 8 outlandish and absurd legal representatives played by community members. It was established that one of these legal representatives, including a cartoon, a giant, a former TV star,
I am just Beef Magoo, and I'd like to be a lawyer for you,
and a green alien being, were to be present for all additional board meetings, along with a Planet Scum representative and a production team representative. The addition of the legal team and establishment of the board meetings ushered in a new and improved box show for 2021. "2021 continued on much like 2020 did for the box show. Each week, Geth and Christi would read out new rules before taking calls and guesses. Many new rules were created and established, including one where a monetary donation of $69 would allow a viewer to add an additional item to the box. Eventually, this rule was extended to give Christi her very own box, bringing the number of items to guess into the double digits across 2 boxes.
I have a box.
You have a box, and is there an item in it?
And there's an item in it.
New shows were continuing to join Planet Scum, including one-a-month series on Wednesday nights, giving the box show performers a week to rest in between shows. When the show did air, new rules, gimmicks, characters, and jokes were added, always approved by an ever-changing panel of board members, lawyers, and comedy performers. Eventually, the rules were cemented that you could make as many guesses as could fit into 45 seconds, or you could tell a 45-second story. If any part of that story should remind Geth or Christi of an item in their box, they were allowed to give a related hint. All the while, Pickle was updating her Google Doc, jotting down incorrect guesses, hints, and solved items. On March 17th, just over a year after the final episode of Chris Gethard Presents, Christi was out for the night, prompting Geth to invite improv friend and actor Will Hines onto the show.
CG, which stands for Chris Gethard, who is...
By the end of the stream, Will had his own box, items, and became a permanent, if not totally willing, second co-host of Planet Scum Live. The box show continued to evolve throughout the beginning of 2021. When the mysterious benefactor stepped away from the producer role on the show, new bits, boxes, and items continued to emerge, and the jackpot continued to grow now that Gethard suddenly found himself back in the driver's seat.
Oh, wait, hold on! Item number 49! We haven't even had a clue about that!
Johnny Rocket! Johnny Rocket! Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
He accidentally called!
Are you kidding me?
The wrong button and he got
He doesn't even know the game! He doesn't even know the game! He doesn't know who Murf is! He knew nothing!
Popular segments during this time included Will Hines' Moby Dick, where a viewer could donate a certain amount of money to have Will read an excerpt from Moby Dick on screen.
That mortal man cannot be true or undeveloped, with books the same. The truest of all men was the man of sorrows.
There was also Law & Order, a segment Geth kicked off anytime he felt a call did not live up to its potential, which allowed him to talk about lawn care for as long as he wanted, much to the chagrin of the co-hosts and viewers alike.
One smart thing I did is I finally bit the bullet. I had some guys dig a trench. They put gravel in it, riverstone on top. This is along this whole area that used to get real swampy anytime it rained or the snow was melting.
Green Buds was a donation-fueled segment that featured Pickle and legal representative Gorb the Devourer chatting it up about whatever they wanted to for a minute or so. All donations were split between the behind-the-scenes producers, performers, and of course, the box's ever-growing jackpot. Regular features were introduced to the box show, such as the George Lucas Talk Show's Patrick Cotnoir and TCGS's Murf Meyer joining in on the fun. Patrick would find himself with his own special item before long, and Murf took on a role where any unused viewer guesses or time could be ceded to him in bulk to make as many guesses as he could to try to end the show quickly.
And for the rest of my time, I cede my guesses to Murf.
Okay, let's give him 1 second.
All of these pieces together, and Gethard's penchant for wondering where control of his show had gone, made the box show more and more popular, as viewers tried desperately to be the one who would guess every item in the box for a chance at internet glory. As 2021 rolled into summer, more and more of the world began opening back up for business. Lifted restrictions on travel and venues reopening meant that the call for live comedy was growing louder and louder. Gethard and the team still committed to regular shows, including novelty ones where viewers could only fax in their answers for the evening. However, once a year of box show had come and gone, it was becoming more and more apparent that the game needed to end.
I can add a third thing to my box. I'm never coming back to this nightmare. Let me be very clear. This is my first and last appearance on this thing, whatever this is.
To assist with this, a hypothetical and later community-designed real-life on-off switch was paired to the concept of adding items to the box. For a hefty donation, the ability to add new items to the box would freeze, giving a finality to the game as more and more items were guessed week after week. The switch was flipped 3 times, once to a fan-favorite reaction from a defeated Gethard who had finally gotten a taste at that light at the end of the tunnel.
You can add items to the box again! Yes, you're gonna have items in your box again!
We're back, baby! We're back!
But by autumn of 2021, the switch was flipped for good, and the final number of items across Gethard, Christi, and Will's boxes, the special Cotnoir item, and a rarely mentioned Jason Mantzoukas box was maintained at 75 items. With dozens of items already guessed and logged by the Pickle, including all of Gethard's items by summer's end, the game was truly winding down to a close as 2022 approached. By December of 2021, the 75 items in the boxes were worth close to a $7,800 jackpot, if one could correctly guess the increasingly dwindling list of unrevealed items. The end result would be fortune, fame, and promises of an official end-of-the-box game ceremony in Boonton, New Jersey, where Gethard would reward the winner the boxes and the prize money, and then afterward a giant creature known as Baphomet would fight Gethard based on a running gag from the show. However, thanks to the Omicron variant, none of that ended up happening, so we won't get too into that. On December 8th, Planet Scum aired what would end up being the final box show and the final episode of a regular Planet Scum live broadcast. The prior week had seen almost all items guessed by callers and Murf alike, leaving only a few unknown items by the end of the evening. Throughout the 3-hour broadcast, the community of Planet Scum used the previous shows, the clues, and the pickle doc to narrow things down to one final unidentified item. A community member named Macaroni was the one to guess the final item, which was a name tag from Will Hines' UCB days.
A name badge from the Del Close Marathon 2013, name badge from the Del Close Marathon 2012,
Stop.
Name badge from the Del Close...
Oh my god. Oh my god. Macaroni, you have won $200. How are you feeling? How are you feeling?
And the first part of the game was over. However, it had been established that while the person to guess the final item would be rewarded, you could only claim the jackpot by guessing all 75 items in order. When they gave Macaroni the go-ahead to begin, he shocked the hosts and audience alike by ceding his time to Pickle, giving the keeper of the dock a chance to capitalize on her hard work throughout the tenure of the box show.
I cede my time to Pickle.
What?
That's not allowed.
Is this allowed? Is this allowed?
This was a hot button item for the show, and one which required much deliberation. Could Macaroni do that? Was this sanctioned? With most of the audience and even a returning mysterious benefactor voicing their approval, the board voted in favor of Pickle finishing up the game.
Listen, don't fuck with me. I want everybody to get 2 people onto this thing right now. I want over 400 people here in the next 5 minutes. Now, go. Get to work.
With Jason Mantzoukas now on screen and rallying the ever-growing tally of users watching the stream, Pickle began guessing, pausing every 10 items for a breather and comments from the panel. Over the next hour or so, Pickle guessed each item, speaking clearly and flawlessly to ensure no mistakes.
It's a piece of paper, a pink scrunchie with flowers, a cashew. Is a Macanudo cigar, a Colt Cabana enamel pin, Tiger Balm. It's an empty Altoids can, Muji Ocean Breeze essential oil. It's a Nugo protein bar, dark chocolate coconut flavored.
Wow, you almost misspoke the word dark, but you...
Finally, after 2 hours and 56 minutes of streaming, a Pickle named 75 items in a row to win the box show and close out a nearly 15-month off-the-wall internet game show. Fans, hosts, and the internet alike celebrated their hero, the Pickle, for giving such a satisfying answer to the question, what's in the box?
What's in the box? We finally got to know what's in the box. It wasn't a block of cheese, wasn't a wrestling zine, it wasn't a stinky egg, it was a White Castle car absorbent travel coaster, 3-prong plug to 2-prong plug adapter, uncrustable sandwich wrapper, bulldog root beer bottle cap, and a Christmas snowman, Africola bottle cap, and also a Gold World's Best Boyfriend trophy, childproof power outlet blocker, a black seashell, a ginger snap cookie, a bouncy multicolored rubber ball, and a paper that says clap your hands everybody if you got what it takes, and also a pink scrunchie with flowers and a cashew, just a cashew, Macanudo cigar, a Colt Cabana enamel pin, and Tiger Balm, and also a Tic Tac container, a Muji Ocean Breeze essential oil, a Nugo dark chocolate coconut protein bar wrapper, an LA library card, a broken Fitbit, and a Virginia is for lovers shot glass, a guitar pick from Oasis Club, a misprinted label for Kyle Hoods from Red Bank, New Jersey, a Britney Spears notebook that says you better work, and also a Guatemalan worry doll, a screw and a makeup brush, a wallet-sized prayer card with affirmation printed envelope with Chris's P.O. box on the left and 2 Barnes Swallow stamps on the right, but they're not stamps, are printed on the envelope. A painting of her Cocker Spaniel, a D12 and a Nugo dark chocolate coconut protein bar wrapper, a Buckbite suction tool, a mustache coasters, a half-used Band-Aid, gross, Gorilla wood glue, a Beatles face mask, boiling grape soda cap, orange highlighter, a Bluetooth earpiece, and Himalayan pink salt paleo puffs, yum, a pin of Jesus cradling a baby dinosaur, I guess that one, a pair of prop glasses, and a twist tie, and red berry-licious nail polish, a wall hook for hanging photos, a pen from a hotel, Mrs. Matt's bobblehead as Wonder Woman bookmark with Japanese writing, green tea conditioner, and a white tissue. I can't believe it was just white. 2 AAA batteries, glass, refreshment tea bag, fake gold hoop earrings, and a Couche ball. 7.5 ounce can of Coke Zero.
Fuck yeah, grip it and whip it.
A Second City shot glass, an empty Pentel 2-pack of pens, a nickel and a cold Cabana headband, a plastic red ruby, and also a thumbtack, aka a push pin, a sandwich-sized Ziploc bag, an eyeglass cloth cleaner from Ray-Ban, an index card that says Chunky, a Vote NYC pen, and also a toothpick.
Item 69.
A picture frame now, a mini book of cocktail recipes, a mini cassette case for the answering machine from Fax Night, and also a pink post-it note, but it was yellow actually. A name badge from the Del Close Marathon 2012, and finally a mask. That's all the